We're
money, 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 money. We got that Fly Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. Money, 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 money. We got that Fly Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. We love our black skin, our melanin, always focusing in on that money. We always win, money never thin, 'cause we hustling, always focusing in money, 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 money. We got that money, 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 money. We that Fly Nubian money. Boss talk on it, we stack it up.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. So today we are talking about something that can hit anyone at any time, and that is medical debt. You can do everything right financially, have insurance, you can be working, saving your money, and one emergency can completely wipe you out. Across the country, millions of Americans are dealing with medical bills and simply can't afford them. And it leads to bankruptcy. Now, while bankruptcy can offer some relief, it comes with real consequences. Damage to credit, limited opportunities, and in some cases, loss of assets. So today we're asking a bigger question. Is it about poor financial planning, or is it about a system where healthcare can completely derail your financial life? So I have some amazing queens with me today. We have Miss Black Hollywood in the house, looking fly and sun-kissed. We have Debra will win in the building, and we have Miss Yolanda, and baby, she can insure your pinky toe. Okay. So, quick question, guys. When you guys first heard about that, what were your thoughts? Like, what were you thinking, Yolanda?
Yes. So I'm thinking this is the new normal. Yes. You know what? People have been going into medical debt for a while now, which is why the Affordable Care Act came along during the Obama administration, because they couldn't afford their bills anymore. And I think this is atrocious, because medical insurance should be free in this country. Bottom line, we pay enough taxes for everything else. We should have free medical. That's just the bottom line. So yeah, this is designed to keep everyone enslaved to some type of portal or system in this reality we are in. So
yeah. I 100% agree. Debra, what are your thoughts? What were you thinking when you first seen this?
America, as much stress as y'all put on us, y'all should be giving us free health care, because y'all the number one reason we got this stress. And we have these different issues and all these isms. So America, give us some free health care. Y'all not giving us everything else.
Okay, Miss Black Hollywood, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it just made me think about, I was able to put it all into perspective of why so many people, I feel so bad when I see somebody that has been diagnosed with like cancer or whatever it is. Like you said earlier, one thing that is unexpected can hit your life, and all of a sudden your life is over. And you have to, while being sick, go on GoFundMe and ask family and friends, when we live in a country that's one of the wealthiest countries in the world. It's just unfortunate. It just goes along with the American narrative. It's why I'm moving soon.
I think I've been looking at China. I've been looking at other places, because these places, they offer, and it may not be completely free, but it is reduced. It's more controlled. It's predictable, right? So let me just give you my thoughts, because you all know I'm a medical person, and you guys know how I feel about the medical field. So imagine going to the emergency room, right? you can't control anything. You don't know what happens and what you're paying out until you start getting those bills. And then everybody is billing you individually. So you're getting bills from all over the place, and they're just running all kind of tests on you. And yes, you want to find out what's going on. But then after you think about it all and the expense related to it, it's just mind-boggling to me from a healthcare perspective. And so those are some of the things for me that I don't enjoy about healthcare, because healthcare is really not healthcare. And I say this all the time, it's sick care, because healthcare is addressing people's mental health. Healthcare is your diet and exercising. That's healthcare. What you eat, that's healthcare. And where we are, we don't have true healthcare. It's a business, and they're about making money. They're going to give you a pill that's going to cause you to need another pill. That's going to cause you to need another pill. And if you don't have your money and you can't afford that pill, you're really in trouble. And that happens all so often. And it's so sad, you know, that we are in this state. So I think we have our first video. So let's check the video out.
Yeah, and I think that's also why Black people don't go to the hospital. It'd be like, I don't want to go to the emergency room. I'm not about to pay $5,000 for them to just come get me. And then you get there and be like, I'm not about to do that either. So I found a video from 2004 of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders proposed a bill that basically wipes out American medical debt. And, you know, I was Team Bernie when he ran for president, but I found this video and I just thought it was interesting so he could lay out from a political standpoint where we are as a country, right? So let's start there.
Secret, I think, to most Americans that our current healthcare system is broken, it is dysfunctional, it is a cruel system. It is the only system in the industrialized world that does not guarantee healthcare to all people, and yet we end up spending twice as much per capita on healthcare as the people of other nations, and the result of all of that is that our life expectancy is significantly lower than many other countries, and our healthcare outcomes are often worse. But today, we are going to be talking about one of the most outrageous and cruelest aspect of this dysfunctional healthcare system, and that is that people who suffer and are trying to deal with terrible illnesses, cancer, heart disease, whatever, not only have to struggle to try to get well, struggle to get the treatment that they need, but then in the midst of all that, they are consumed with the reality that their family may go bankrupt because of the outrageous cost of healthcare. Truth is that in America today, the leading cause of personal bankruptcy. What is personal bankruptcy? People go to Las Vegas and blow their money. Gambling? Are they buying extravagant homes and fancy jewelry? No. The leading cause of personal bankruptcy in this country is the outrageously high prices that large hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, and insurance companies charge the American people for the crime of getting sick. Bankruptcy takes place because you get sick and need medical treatment.
That's true. That's true. And the worst part about it is, again, being a healthcare professional, you get subpar treatment. You know, there have been times I've worked in various aspects of healthcare. And so there's been times where, you know, people can't afford the medication. So they give them a temporary fix while they're in the hospital. But then what happens when they go home? Or they have to abruptly stop their cancer treatment because the insurance doesn't cover it. Then what happens? They lose their lives just because they don't have the means to pay for it out of pocket. You're talking about a pill that can be $20,000 easy. And somebody says this out their mouth, and we're in a country that's supposed to be wealthy, and, you know, it's just extremely sad. So I do have a question for you guys. Have you guys ever known someone or experienced medical debt yourself? I'm gonna start with you, Miss Hollywood, Miss Black Hollywood.
Yeah, you know, in 2003, I randomly was, I was still in college and I just kind of started to bleed. And I didn't know what was happening. I thought it was my period, but I just kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. And I was like, it's okay. I'll go and see my school clinic on Monday. I think I started bleeding on a Thursday. And I was like, I'll just wait. I'll wait and go Monday morning. By the time Saturday came, I passed out. Like, I was trying to go to the bathroom and I passed out. Come to find out, they took me to the hospital. And when I got there, I realized that my platelet count was like non-existent. Like if we have millions of platelets in our body, I had like 20, literally. And so your platelets, as you know, stop you from bleeding. And while in the hospital, I was in the hospital for about a month. And while I was there, I had bone marrow surgery. I had hemoglobin. I want to say like 15 blood transfusions. I didn't have half the amount of blood that was supposed to be in my body. So there was all these things. So by the time I got out of the hospital, I had about $250,000 bill, and I was 19 years old. And so I didn't know what I was supposed to do after that, like about that. I was like just confused. Not only was I in college, I mean, thank God I had a free ride to college, but as you know, it's one of my regrets in life is just still taking Sally Mae's money. So I had student loan debt that I was taking because I didn't know. And then, although I had a full ride, and then I had this medical debt, and I was so stressed out about what to do from it. So I just remember being very young. And so that debt went with me for a very long time until they just had to write it off after Hurricane Katrina.
And that's crazy. You're young, right? Your future hasn't even began, and to have to be faced with something like that. And your health, sometimes things happen. You could do everything right, and it's outside of your control, and you still end up in these situations. And it's just heartbreaking to me. Like, even having insurance, you still end up with a lot of debt. Like, I work for an insurance company. Listen to me. And when I go, I still get bills. $2,000. The only thing they cover is, the preventative. So, your yearly physicals, things like that. And it should not be like that at all. And I work for an insurance company. Yolanda, what about you?
Oh, yes, for sure. I remember after having my son, I got that medical bill because you have to pay your deductible, which is the first portion of the medical insurance before they start paying out. So my deductible at the time was $5,000. Okay. And I had to pay I was so shocked because I was a new mom. I just bought a house. Everything was just like coming in on me. Then I see this $5,000 bill. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? And at the time, I wasn't making a lot of money. So that figure, $5,000, seemed very overwhelming to me. So I'm just happy. I too got it written off for some odd reason. They did write it off because I wrote into the insurance carriers like, look, I just had a baby. I got a mortgage now. I have to feed him. What? So they just wrote it off for me. But the stress that it caused me was insurmountable. It was crazy.
Yeah. What about you, Debra?
Sheila? Oh.
There she goes.
She left.
I had muted myself. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, the debt of medical debt. Yes, I too, like you, Yolanda, had that bill after I had my daughter. Yeah, I was like, what is this? Thousands of dollars. But like you said, it was that co-payment, and and I had to definitely pay it. And unfortunately, when you have a medical emergency, you can't shop around. You can't say, oh, I'm gonna go to this hospital because they have forgiveness plan here. When it's an emergency, you have to go. Whatever your need is, you got to take care of it, whether it's emergency room. And that's another thing, that emergency room and that daggone ambulance bill, baby, like they will chase you down. My grandmother, we had a bill. I said, she's deceased. Stop sending the bill. You're not getting paid. There's no estate money paying that bill. Write it off, because you can do that. And you're allowed as a company, write it off.
Yeah. Now they hit you up in an emergency room. You be in the emergency room and they will come by with that little machine and tell you to pay your deductible right there or your copay right there.
Yeah.
They do not play.
And then they wonder why people don't come to the hospital. There's people that are critically ill, and I've witnessed this. I did home health for a long period of time. And so, sometimes you go into the home and you think that a patient is stable and they're not. And you're like, no, there's nothing I can do for you in the home. You need to go to the emergency room. They say, oh, no, I'm going to wait. I'm not. I said, we're going to call the ambulance. You guys going to go to the emergency room? They said, absolutely not. I'm waiting till my daughter get here and she's going to take me. I'm like, your blood pressure is in the toilet.
Yeah.
But because they're more concerned about the bill related to it, they won't seek treatment, which creates even more issues and more expenses and more bills. But one thing I will say is, for everybody that's tuning in, negotiate that stuff. They will negotiate.
You
And
can.
they can't put medical bills any longer on your credit.
Thank
People
God.
don't know that. They
Yeah.
can't put it on your credit. Negotiate it. Negotiate those medical bills. Those hospitals and those medical companies will work with you. So, think about that. So just another quick question, guys. Do you guys think that the costs are out of control in the United States? Debra?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Even my daughter, she was saying to me, she was like, Mom, she said, why do you never think about living in Canada? They have free healthcare. And I was like, and education. I was like, really? Like, we might have to go across the waters, daughter. And being knowledgeable about our bodies. We have to become educated about our bodies. Study yourself, because we can heal ourselves. Actually, we've been given everything in the earth. God has been good to us, but we kind of just gave it over to a easier way, a quicker way, a microwave way. And now we're starting to have to go back to do what grandma used to do and grandpa used to do. I'm not using no WD-40 on myself, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying, I will use the stuff grown from the earth to heal myself. I'll do that.
That's the WD, and don't put no butter on the burn.
Exactly.
Put some butter on it, baby.
Don't burn even more. What about you, Yolanda?
Oh my goodness. Okay, what was the question again?
Do you think that the medical costs are out of control in the U.S.?
Heck yeah, Miss Lady. It is beyond. Why are you going into the hospital to have a baby and it's $50,000 just to have a baby? When I can do it in my bathtub unsupervised if I really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But I'm coming to the hospital and, with trust that this is the place I should be at in order to have a child. I should not have to go into a hospital because I have a headache or I'm not feeling too good and coming out with a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 bill. That's asinine. And also, I wanted to tell you, you were right, Dominique, as far as negotiating those bills. There are medical companies that review the claims for you. Okay, they will review your medical claim and they will reduce your medical claim if you feel that is too high. Even if you're not paying for it, still, you can go to a review analyst and have them review your claim for you. So,
and then you just said you just mentioned having a baby, and then we go to the hospital as African American women, and we're more likely not to come home than
yeah, that's another thing. That's another medical bill, girl.
Another one. And the thing about it is, what I'm finding is, I'm into a lot of natural stuff, and I follow there are a lot more women that are having babies at home.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot more people that are doing more natural, medicines and healing themselves. They're unprogramming themselves because we've been programmed to think that the only option we have is to go to the emergency room, go to the hospital, and they're just going to run a bunch of tests. They're practitioners. They're practicing. They don't really know what's wrong, and so they're running these tests, which are running up bills. And then oftentimes it could just be something as simple as you have an allergy to something.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's nothing it's nothing major. So, Miss Black Hollywood, what are your thoughts? Do you think the medical expenses are out of control?
I do. And I think the queens have been great about articulating what ways. But I just also want to add that if you just start to look down the line, a heart surgery in Thailand costs $15,000. I'm gonna just park that right there. Like it costs $15,000. Like I just feel like, and likely you're able to get that subsidized, right? Like there's a program or whatever, but $15,000 for heart surgery, and we already know that in the Eastern Hemisphere, I feel like the doctors are probably better than American doctors just because of the way that they're structured and how they live their lives and all of the things. So anyway, I just think that unfortunately, for whatever reason, our nation is content with people going to GoFundMe. If you need a heart transplant or a heart surgery in America, you can't get help. You just have to rely on your friends and family to make donations, or people that you don't know to hopefully have a heart to give you a heart, you know what I mean, or to work, so I just think that it's unfortunate that we just have to live this way.
Yeah, I totally agree. Do we have another video?
We do have another video. So I'm just going to go. So I'm going to go to Pastor Jamal Bryant. He had spoken about this on his podcast. And at the
Able to
moment, I don't
tell
remember
you
what he said. But he's,
that bankruptcy for medical bills, I want to go around the world and tell you how many people have filed for bankruptcy because of medical bills in other developed nations. You ready? In Italy, this is the amount of people who filed bankruptcy because of medical bills. In Italy, 0.
Mm.
In Germany, 0. In Japan, 0. In the UK, 0. In Sweden, 0. In Canada, 0. In Australia, 0. In France, 0. Now ask me, how many people in America have filed bankruptcy because of medical bills? You don't want to ask me? I'm going to give it to you. 637,000.
That's crazy.
That's
I thought it was more.
And it
girl.
probably is more at this point.
Yeah.
That's probably just the Black
crazy.
community alone. That's probably just the Black community alone. Ain't nobody else community. Us.
That is crazy.
No, that really is.
So what do you guys think the long-term effects of filing bankruptcy will have on people? And do you think, and it's like a double fold question, do you think that there are other options for people as opposed to them filing bankruptcy? I'm gonna start with you, Debra.
It impacts us when we go to purchase homes, even getting additional insurance. You know, they'll look at that and say, "Oh no, you're denied. You got a bill you never paid." So it impacts us more than other cultures, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it drives up the cost. So now we're paying more for stuff, because we filed bankruptcy, because we don't even understand the options. Nobody is even having these conversations with people to say, hey, you can do a payment arrangements. You can negotiate this. Nobody's even having those conversations. And so people think that this is the only option, which then just digs them deeper into a hole. Yolanda, what are your thoughts?
First, I have to shout out King Simon. Hi, brother. I see your comments up there.
Hey.
All right. So my thought is this: bankruptcy is American as apple pie. Do that ish if you have to. Okay. Yes, it will set you back because once you file bankruptcy, you try to buy a house, they'll put a PMI on your mortgage so that you have to pay extra higher and all this other good stuff. But it's only temporary. You will have a temporary setback. Just wait a few years. If you have to file bankruptcy because of an insurance or whatever the case, because of life, do it. It is it's the American way. Everybody else does it. That's what the rich white men do. Okay. You'll still survive after bankruptcy. You'll still survive and thrive.
You'll be okay. And you may even come out even better.
You will. Trust.
I mean, I think the other option outside of bankruptcy, I think you asked that question, is insurance. And I'm surprised Yolanda didn't say this, but there is insurance where you can protect yourself. You can even get insurance protecting yourself from getting sick. There's things that are in place, and I'm sure we can go back to Yolanda on this, but just learning more, the more I've been learning about insurance for the last few years and partnering with my queens and listening to and having these conversations around insurance. Make sure y'all check out Rise every other Thursday. But what I realized is that everything can be prevented during with insurance. So we're not having enough insurance conversations. We're instead thinking it's too late. Right. By the time we have the insurance conversation, it's too late, and GoFundMe or relying on family and friends is the only option, when really you could talk to a professional like Yolanda and be insured, in case anything happened, you'll be covered up to a certain amount. So we have options.
True. Very true. We have disability and critical illness insurance, which
Yep.
will cover you in case you are disabled for a specific period of time. It'll give you a payout for up to 15 years in some instances. You know what I'm saying? It'll replace your income. And then the critical illness insurance will cover you if you're really critically ill, you're about to die. Okay. And that's part of your life insurance policy. Your life insurance has a critical illness endorsement on it that will protect you and pay for your bills while you are sick. A lot of people don't know that. That's why it's important to get life insurance, people. It serves you very well in a lot of ways. Not
And
just
know what's in it. Because
Yeah.
sometimes people get insurance and they don't know what's in it. They
always
think
tell
they have it.
Yeah.
They think they have it, or they think if something happens, they're covered until something happens, and they're like, "Wait, that's not in my rider. That's not. I don't have that, right?" So I think it's important to know.
Yeah, most policies are built in right now with it. It's automatically included because they know that people are getting sick. And most people do want to stay home when they're sick, especially in their last days. That's why you see old people, them old people be home. You be like, how they home and not in a nursing home? How they able to stay home and have a 24-hour nurse and all that good stuff and help? They have a good life insurance policy that's paying for all of that. Trust.
And I think people just don't know, because I know for me, like in terms of insurance, a lot of things I had to learn along the way, even having life insurance, right? Even now that you're mentioning this, I don't even think that I have a critical care piece added to my insurance.
That's something they just don't tell you. If you show me your policy, I'll show you what you have.
Okay. Because I know I have it through my job, like short-term disability, critical care, or even insurance in case of accidental death. But in terms of life insurance policy, and I think that people, and maybe Yolanda, you can piggyback off of that. I think people are confused about their policies because they're not giving information. They're just saying, hey, this is your life insurance. You have a life insurance policy if something happens, but you're not giving any other detail. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so most people don't understand life insurance is just not about the end of your life, okay? It's a living policy. It's a walking living policy. You can utilize certain components in your policy, again, to live off of. So if you're sick, or if you have, they even have some policies that have disability riders on there. So if you're ever disabled, your policy would pay you for life until you die. Yeah, they have so many different moving components. You just have to talk to a very knowledgeable, good life specialist that will sit down with you and tell you what is on this policy. Tell them to tell you how can you maximize the most out of your policy, and they should have that information. If they don't have that information, immediately get up and leave their office, okay? Because they do not know what they're talking about.
Okay. I just wanted to jump in and say, when you mentioned about the elders staying home, like my grandmother, that's what she wanted. She wanted to stay home. She wanted to pass away in her home. And she was financially astute to do that. Even after she passed, we were still able to pay bills and keep the house afloat, even after she passed away. And that's just something that we've always done in our community. We keep our elders at home. We don't put them in nursing homes. We get family members and friends around the clock to stay with them. And my grandmother and her sister both were the same way. They were like, nope, not going in a nursing home. As soon as any hospitalizations would happen, we get them out of there quickly, because we know the longer you let them lay there and stay there, because again, in the healthcare industry, they don't have as much staff as they should. So a lot of times your loved ones are being neglected, but we're still being charged those high prices. You're still charging me $4,000 for a Motrin, but my loved one or myself is not getting the care that we need. I mean, I had to even come down one time when my brother was hospitalized and actually say to a nurse, would you like for me to call the state today? Because you can't get anybody in here to bathe my brother and change him? Because I'm capable of doing it, but I shouldn't have to when he pays $500 a month for a copay for his insurance.
Exactly.
She looked at me, honey, she spun out of there like Michael Jackson. And the next thing I knew, two men, because my brother's a big guy, he's 6'8", and over 200 pounds, two male nurses came, got him together. And I said, thank you. I appreciate it.
You have to be an advocate for your family. You have to advocate for your family, or else they will sit there and rot. There's so many people sitting in nursing homes they just neglected. They're neglected. It's so sad.
And the sad part, what makes it even worse is things like bed sores and dehydration. That's considered neglect. Like, you can sue for that stuff. But because people don't know, they allow their loved ones to sit in that space, and it's not intentional. it's a system. It's a systematic issue, right? We're
Yeah.
super busy. We're consumed. We have a bunch of debt. We can't take off for work. It's all these things that play into it, which allows for the neglect. Then let's take it a step further, right? So you can go in, your loved one can go into a nursing home and they can seize their assets, sell their
Yes,
assets.
girl. Yes. I was talking about that the other day.
They
Yes.
can literally take your home. I remember when I worked in a nursing home when I was going through nursing school, and it was a lady that she was going through a divorce, and so she changed her life insurance policy and put it into her dad's name. Well, she ended up dying. She was critically ill. She had cancer or something. She ended up dying. The dad ended up having a stroke and went into the nursing home. So now her child no longer has that money because now the nursing home has taken the money. And it's a legal robbery.
Yes, that's right. You are, oh my God, you are absolutely correct. So yes, if you do sign somebody over as a beneficiary and they pass away, or they end up in a like a nursing home or something, the nursing home has the right to take that policy. You are absolutely correct. And that's sad. This is why will and estate planning is so important to everybody. I don't even care if you have $1 in your bank account. If you have some type of asset like an old home, whatever, will that sucker, put it in a will, and also start transferring your assets to your trusted children, so that when you get old, and if you are forced into a nursing home because your children can't care for you, they can't come after your house. And you have to do it at a specific period of time. You can't do it the day before they go into the nursing home. You can't do that. Okay.
It has to be like 5 years.
Yeah, it's 5 years. Exactly. You got to do it 5 years before. Trust your kids, love your parents, stick together, family, so that we can do things and not have the government or these people, institutions take our assets. Because they take everything, your life insurance, your house, your car, everything you own, so they can pay your stay for that nursing home.
That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know, Dominique, I don't know if you, I just think it's so interesting, and I've been wanting to. There's a video that I have, and I would love to play it, because I feel like so many Americans are also, just to add to this conversation, having to work while also suffering from certain illnesses, right? Like in the middle of illnesses, still having to work a full-time job just to keep your insurance, even if it's provided through your job. Like you can't then take the time off. Right. So let me play this video real quick, because I thinking about that, like thinking of making somebody work while they have cancer or battling some life-threatening illness, and saying you still have to come and do 40 hours or it doesn't contribute to your insurance. It's kind of crazy. It's like, I thought, like, when I got sick, or if I got sick, then all the cover. That's why it's so important to know what you have and what your employer is giving you, because sometimes they're not giving you the best insurance that you can have. They're just giving you, just in case you get a cold and you need to be, they're not thinking cancer. So I want you to kind of talk about this, Yolanda, but let me play the video really quick, just to add a little bit to this. Because what do you do when this is the situation?
Reasons I got into credit card debt, and that is actually because I had cancer. And you might be thinking that was for medical bills and medical expenses. No, it was actually because I had to work full-time while going through chemotherapy, and I didn't get paid on the days I didn't work because of how our system is set up, and I can go into more details if people are interested, but essentially I would just take off a couple days every 2 weeks to do treatment, and I would be working full-time other than that, because otherwise I didn't get paid. And so that loss of income impacted me, as well as having to, order out and just being more exhausted. So couldn't cook as much at home, and that led to other issues. But yeah, that's one of the reasons.
That's sick, son.
How is America able to do that to people? Where shouldn't that be wrapped in the insurance policy, where it's like, if you're off or you get a certain amount of paid leave days, especially for cancer? It just doesn't make sense to me. I just think it's so soulless.
So this is when the employers should step in and start protecting the employees. And this is why employees, they have to, like, at this time, we need a revolution up in America. All right. If you're going to want me to exchange my freaking time for labor, you better protect me at all freaking costs. All right. Because what should have happened, they should have given her disability at that point. She should have been able to get a temporary disability policy where she didn't have to be forced to go into a freaking job. God damn, she got cancer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yes.
Do you guys know anybody personally? Like, I know people personally that did this because there are no options available. Like, and they threaten your job. They tell you
that
need to
should be illegal. Dominique, that should
It's
be
not.
illegal.
It should be illegal.
But it's not.
My job because I get sick. And probably I got sick because working your goddamn job. That's probably why I got sick in the first place.
It's not illegal. It's not illegal. And I know people, because I work for the city, that donate their time to people because they've used all their time in their sick bank, vacation time out of their vacation bank. And what people will do is they will donate when they have like a lot of time. Say if somebody been on the job 30 years and they have a lot of time, they will donate a month, 2 months to someone to help them out in that situation. And they put it out there, so-and-so is sick. If you guys would like to donate any sick time or any of your days, even school teachers, they do it often to help out their fellow, coworkers.
But you see how that falls back on us to do the job that we should be doing? That's like GoFundMe, right? Why it falls back on us. Like Americans was putting donations in the bucket for TSA workers. Why? Why do we have
to trying to take it
to us?
And then they were trying to take it from us.
Yes.
I'm telling you, corporations owe Americans a freaking duty by protecting us at all costs, giving us better health care, giving us long-term and short-term disability, so that if we get sick working their funky ass jobs, we will be protected and we can still pay our bills if we cannot go into work. That's atrocious. No one should be stressed out over money while they're trying to recover and heal their body.
And can you imagine being sick? I'm talking about almost gravely ill because of the impact that cancer has on your body, right? And then they're calling you saying, "Hey, when do you plan on coming back? Hey, when are you going to be here? We're going to have to terminate your position if you don't come back. You've extended your FMLA." Like, this stuff really happens, and it's unfortunate that it is like that. But this is how it is, and it's not going to be any different until we change it. And then a lot of these diseases are because of what they allow us to eat, what they allow to our food. It has nothing to do with us, right? You can be the healthiest person and you can still end up with cancer. Like, I think it was a girl, she was in her 20s that just died of some type of stomach cancer. Like that, those are things that we can control if they took better care of us. But it's a business overall, right? Yeah. We want people to be sick because it stimulates the economy. It stimulates pharma. It stimulates the powers that be. And that's how it is all the time. They don't care about the quality of care. They're going to take your house. They're going to take your money, and they're going to give your loved ones subpar care. Because like I said, I worked in a nurse home. That was my first job while I was in nursing school. And I just couldn't do it because it's horrible. You talking about giving me a hallway as a CNA, giving me a hallway of 30 patients to care for by myself. How?
That's
a hallway. A hallway, not even a room.
A hallway.
But that should be illegal too. That should be illegal. There should be at least like 2 CNAs to every 10 patients on a freaking floor. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have that, you should call the state. And this is for anybody that's out there that's working those type of jobs. Call the state on them assholes. Okay? Because they should protect you guys. Because you can get sick. You can get sick doing all that work.
The thing is, there's not enough people reporting this either, right? So it happens. You think about it. If they start losing money because people are suing them, because you can sue for bed sores. So that's something that everybody needs. That is a form of neglect. But nobody sues. Nobody says nothing. They let it go. Oh, I'm not going to fight it until we really start standing up and holding them accountable. They've taken your loved ones home. They've taken your loved ones retired. They've taken everything.
Yeah.
And they still don't have to take care of them. That's crazy to me.
That's it.
There's a movie on Netflix called I Care a Lot.
Oh, I love that movie, girl. I love that movie.
That movie that's what it's
about guardianship.
About guardianship, but they all are working together. The judge, the
Oh,
person who's taking guardianship of the person's property, but they
yeah.
messed with the wrong guy in this movie.
Oh, they did
And
that little short. That
they
short.
banned him from his mother's funeral. They took her home, all her assets, baby. He did not. He hunted each one of them down. It's a good movie.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a good movie.
Yeah. It's
It's a
a
good movie, but it lets us see how our government is corrupted in this. It lets us see how our government are investors in the system. They only give us a 70-year life expectancy in America, right? So
yeah.
within that 70 years, they are to profit so many of millions of dollars from you working, and then the other part of it is from you being sick.
Yep. So they're feeding us bad foods, right? And then we're working high stress jobs on top of that, and then we get sick and we can't really afford healthcare because the deductibles and everything is too high. Sometimes your monthly, participation in the healthcare policy is too high, because I know a lot of people are foregoing. They're not paying they're not paying healthcare anymore because they can't afford it. I remember this lady was on TV saying her insurance bill was $1,200 a month for her family of 4. Who got money like that? I mean, there's some people that got money like that, but who wants to spend money like that? $1,200 just so that your family can have health care? Now, say for instance, you forego that, you're eating bad food, you have a high stress job, and you get sick. What the hell? It's like it's a big circle of disaster. They want people in fear. They want people sick. It feeds them. That fear energy, that sick energy feeds these mofos at the top. It makes them eat.
Yeah. So I got a quick question. Do you guys think that insurance, like healthcare debt, should be treated differently than other debt? What do you think, Miss Hollywood? Miss Black Hollywood? What's your thoughts?
It's so interesting because, like you said earlier, we're not supposed to, medical debt is not supposed to be on our credit report and all of that. But, this administration was fighting for it to be put back on our credit, for us to have to be, responsible for that. But I think it should be treated differently just because of the fact that it's just, it's something you can't really control, like we've been saying. And so I just don't think that people should be penalized, and it should affect their entire lives, because they shouldn't be criminalized because they got sick. We can't really help. Again, we've all said the way America is ran is a polluted place, like it's toxic. Everything, there's toxins in everything, like we can wash what we eat, right? But then it's in your clothes, then it's in the fabric in your clothes, there's formaldehyde in there, there's all kinds of things that I feel like we're exposed to regularly. And I just think that our country should take account of that. They should do their
We're a
part.
Ponzi scheme. We're a
Oh my
Ponzi
goodness,
scheme.
that's a
Whole story.
a big ass Ponzi scheme. Paying into the system, you get nothing at the bottom.
Nothing.
It's only the top that eats, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all in bed together, all of them.
Every last one of them suckers.
Yep. Deborah, what are your thoughts?
I think it's hard. I think it's really horrible to be called the country, the most richest country in the world, the American dream. Like I think we've been sold a bag of rocks. I really, as I get older, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm exploring, I'm doing everything I want to do, anything imaginable that I can do with the later years of my life. I'm not letting any systems disrupt my systems within my body, my nervous system, my spiritual system, my financial system. I'm not going to let these United States of America disrupt me like that. That they do what they want to do. They go jumping, they go skiing, they go hiking, they develop all kinds of things. I'm doing it too.
Exactly.
It gets greater later. Thank you, Bevy Smith. It gets greater later, and that's what I'm doing.
I agree. There's going to be a mass exodus. Like, I've been following a lot of people on social media. They're moving to China. It's one girl that I seen today. She went from spending $4,000 a month, and she lives in luxury. Do you hear me? She paid $420 a month. She lives in luxury. fully furnished place. I see people that get these contracts in these other countries. In their contract, it includes their living expenses, it includes food, it includes medical, everything. They come here, stack their money. Yep. And they live great. They say the quality of food is good. Eventually, what's going to happen? And it's a lot. I'm seeing a lot more people leaving. I'm seeing a lot more people going to other countries, China, Thailand, and they talk about the healthcare system and how it's totally different because it's more controlled and regulated. And even if it's not 100% free, it's regulated totally different. Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of people leaving and just packing up, taking their families and just going somewhere totally different. So I think we have some stats.
We have stats. I think we have one more video. Let's play the last video and then we'll go to stats. It's so interesting because as people become expats and like go around the world, I think you also realize that just the quality of air, the quality of people, it's just different. I think that's why it's so important to get out of this country and see other things and just exposed to other things. Okay.
No, but actually isn't. That's the question that Jared Walker, founder of $4, asked himself, and the answer could lead to your hospital bills being erased. For the newest episode of my podcast, The Dose, I sat down with him, and what he shared surprised even me. Let's take a listen.
There are about 8,000 hospitals in America, and every single one of them has their own financial assistance and charity care policy. So this is not a standardized, it's like the hospitals choose how generous these policies are. And what we did early on was we got like 50 volunteers and we just went through and we found every single policy and we put it in this database. So we have every single hospital charity care policy, all of their eligibility criteria, and it goes into this database. And that is the logic that powers the tool. So you're going to put in your household size, your income, what hospital, how old the bill is, and it's going to tell you, according to that hospital, whether or not you're eligible for charity care. If we can get that information, it can spit out the answer. And then from there, we lead people through a digital application.
If you want to hear more of that conversation.
So I wanted to play that because there are options, right? As you can see, there's still, I think Yolanda said this earlier, you can go through a process with their in-house hospital, their financial assistance department in the hospital. Every hospital has it, and just kind of like start to negotiate, apply for the charities that are offered their scholarships because they can write those things off. I did meet, when I got sick, I did meet with their, I met with them, like that department, and it happened so long ago, I don't remember, but I remember we were talking about that, like ways to get that debt erased. And so I was like, afterwards, I was like, I'm not paying that, my 20-year-old brain was like, this is stressful. I'm not paying that. I'm 20, whatever. Right. And I heard that it was going to fall off. And so I just gave it up to it falling off my credit or wherever it was. I just gave it up and was like, it'll fall off. It's fine.
So Anonymous said, don't get me wrong. The U.S. is still the greatest country in the world. It just needs some fine tuning. No, we need more than some fine tuning. Way more than fine tuning.
The USA is a big slave club. Everybody is slave. They created everybody a slave, even white people. Everybody is slave up in this piece.
That's the thing. But you still have people talking about America is the greatest country. Just look the way America is governed. Like the way, I mean, you can, I don't know. I don't know if you've been reading articles or looking around.
Is the only reason why it's the greatest country is because you can really earn a lot of money in America, okay? As opposed to other countries. You can earn a lot. You can do gig work. There's so many possibilities and ways to earn money. That's the only reason why people, especially people from the outside looking in, think we are the greatest country. That's it.
Because they go to other countries and yes, we make a whole lot of money, but it takes a whole lot of money to live here.
That's the point. It's like even exchange. This is what they don't understand. It's an even exchange. Okay.
I don't know if it's even. I just think once you add healthcare and you don't have healthcare, once you add like the food that they feed us and just how we are treated as Americans in America, I don't know if it balances out.
You're right. It's upside down. It's a little upside down. Yeah, it is.
Not a little. It's a lot. It's a lot of
Okay, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Baby, this is Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz 101. When you pull the curtain back, it's like, voila.
whoa.
Gonna see a short man over there with his tools, like, so operating everybody and controlling everybody. That's what we gonna see. Child. Where Toto at?
I think we have some stats.
All right.
Medical debt affects over 1 million Americans. About 40% of adults carry some form of healthcare related debt. Medical bills contribute to roughly 60% of bankruptcies in the US.
60%.
Nearly 1 in 3 Americans delay or skip medical care due to cost. And I can attest to that. I've had so many people, and it's just heartbreaking because it's like one part of you knows that you really need to go in. Like, you know, when somebody's sick and when they're not sick, you really need to go. But then you also understand the stress that comes with it, because they're thinking about, I can't afford no more medical debt. I can't deal with no bills. I'm barely making it right now. And I know the minute I step foot in this door, I'm going to have a lot of bills because, you know, I'm sure you guys been to the emergency room before. Once you leave, you get multiple bills. You don't just get one bill. You get a bill from everybody that touches you, everybody that sees you. The hospital has their own bill. And then it's like the physicians are like contractors. And so they're all billing you individually. And one hospital visit can be $4,000 to $5,000, depending on the type of test they ran and stuff. So I completely understand. And it's just so unfortunate that it's like that. But this is America.
You know what's interesting, Dominique? Dennis Bragan says maybe we can work off hospital debt on the back end if one doesn't have medical insurance. Do you see that Americans are so programmed to work? Why would you want to work? When you gonna work, bro, on the back end? When you gonna work?
And
That's
do
what we are so conditioned to work and to think like, well, maybe I can work it off. I mean, we're still working off student loan debt. We're working off, trying to pay to live. And now we're saying, I know shade, Dennis. Like, I understand what you're saying, but we're so programmed to want to work. And so I think that's my issue with America.
Yeah, we didn't incarnate on this earth to work for other people. We really
Or
they programmed us to be worker bees.
Right.
They programmed us, and they're programming our children that the way the education system is set up is for you to just be a worker. And I get it. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur, but if I'm an entrepreneur, then my family works for me there, and I'm going to take care of my family as opposed to them working for another company, and then they're not being taken care of. And this is what happens. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And then we're working for stuff. How about we regulate the medical system where there's a cap to what you can charge, and there's certain things that have to happen instead of, working on the back end.
Correct.
We should get it for free. Just give it
to us for free. Universal health care.
Have to work for some. Yeah, like we should get it for free. For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
So we have a women's history fact today, Miss Yolanda. Take it away, ma'am.
It's coming from Rwanda.
Oh, yes, Dr. Agnes Benagwaho. Okay. She helped rebuild Rwanda's healthcare system after the genocide of focusing on making care affordable and accessible nationwide. Under her leadership, Rwanda reduced out-of-pocket costs and expanded insurance coverage, showing that medical debt is not inevitable. It's a result of how a system is designed.
So our
that is what's up.
Yes.
Thank you. That's what's up, sis.
So we are going to close out for today. So we're going to have our final thoughts, and then you guys can let the people know where they can find you. So I do have a final question that I want to ask you guys. What can people do today to better protect themselves financially? I'm going to start with you, Miss Debra.
People can, like it has been stated before in the conversation, people can find out what is included in your insurance. Get additional insurance to protect yourself. I know I used to have Aflac, and Aflac definitely works. It has, it didn't cost that much. I think I was paying I don't even think I was paying $20 a month. So maybe $5 a week but the additional insurance helped. When I was in a car accident, I was able to tap into it. They paid me for going to emergency room. They paid me for every physical I went to go have. So that was an incentive, and those are things that we have to start looking into to better protect ourselves, to protect our wallets and the internal systems within us. We have to do that because in America, getting sick can not only cause you to lose your health, it can cause you to lose your wealth. My name is Debra E. Williams. You can find me as Debra Will Win 11 on YouTube and having cultural conversations with you here at Fly Nubian Money. Thank you.
Thank you, Debra. Okay, Yolanda, what about you? What are your final thoughts and where can the people find you?
Yes. My final thought surrounding your question is to keep your body as healthy as possible. We are in a great information age on how to repair ourselves, how to keep ourselves, how to be healthy, exercise, eat well, get sunlight, do all those things, and also research how you can naturally heal yourself. I thank my mother so much because she was like a herbologist, and we went to the pediatrician once a year. But when we got sick, she knew how to whip up some herbs in that kitchen, okay? And it healed us. And I do the same thing to this day. I'm hardly sick because of what she has taught me over the years. So just heal yourselves, y'all, So anywho, you can reach me at mwhitney.com. I'm an insurance broker. I can insure virtually anything, even your pinky toe. So let me know what you need. I got you. Even if you need a consultation on this here discussion that we just had, give me a call, especially regarding that life insurance policy, so you can see how it can work for you while you are alive and not when you're dead. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Miss Hollywood.
Yeah, I just think it all comes down to us having a strategy. I think that we just need to be thinking about things and planning before things happen. We can't wait to get sick to think about being sick, because then you gonna die. But if you start to think about what will happen if you get sick, what I noticed is that a lot of us as Black people, we just got an issue with preventative, right? Like preventative care is like, you know, for whatever reason, we just not into that. And so I just think that we shouldn't be living or just winging it off a wing and a prayer. Like we can't pray health away. We can't rely on Jesus at the last minute. Like I've been eating a terrible diet for the last 50 years of my life, and then I get sick and I'm just going to ask Jesus to heal my cancer. No, like just like everyone else has said, like we got to just start being really looking and having a strategy for that before that. And so if you're interested in finding out more, y'all, in the next couple weeks, I am going to be out with my with the other queens. We're going to be in Miami. When is this? In 2 weeks. I'm be in Miami talking storytelling and all of that. So if you are interested, go to blackpowerconference.com. I believe that the one thing that God gave us all is our story. And I think we were put here to tell that story, to inspire each other through our stories. And if you want to take it to the next level and do something with your story, like learn how to make it something that helps you monetize and come up with some money so you ain't got to work, or you ain't got to work in the traditional way, go to MissBlackHollywood.net. That's MSBLACK Hollywood.net.
Thank you, ladies. This has been a really good conversation. So I'm Dominique Morgan. I am one half of the Whitmore Group, where we exist to educate, empower, and equip individuals and businesses to build wealth through real estate. If you're looking to find us, we are on all social media platforms at the Whitmore Group, and you can go to our website at thewhitmoregroup.com. If you want to get notifications when we go live, you can text Queens to 87948 and you can get notifications. And as we leave today, this has been a very great conversation, very interesting. A lot of nuggets were dropped. So at the end of the day, this is not just about health. It's about how quickly your financial stability can be disrupted. Because of one emergency, it can take everything you've built. Then you have to start asking bigger questions about the system and how to protect ourselves within. And as we just heard, there are places where this looks different, which means it doesn't need to be this way. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know, have you had to deal with medical debt? Thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next week at the same
Yes.
time, the same Monday through Friday.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Wait a minute, Yolanda. Anonymous says that he got a 6-pack. I really think, in my mind, I think that Anonymous is not handsome. Like, I don't think, because he anonymous, right? I think he looked like a troll. What you think? I don't know.
Look, I said to him, let's see it. Let's see.
Like, let's next time send us a picture. Send us a picture. Send us a picture.